This is the Rockford MetroCentre, a 23-year-old arena that was transformed into a 7,000-seat hockey rink in 1999 when team owners moved the Thunder Bay Thundercats from Canada to Illinois. The MetroCentre is home ice for the Rockford IceHogs, a team that competes with 13 others in the United Hockey League, formerly known as the Colonial Hockey League. UHL teams play an 80-game schedule that stretches from mid-October to the beginning of April. For the Rockford IceHogs, 40 of those games are played here in front of an average of 4,000 hockey fans. While there might be some debate over what exactly an ice hog is, everyone here agrees there's nothing better than a night spent watching their team play inside the MetroCentre. But that's only half the story. There are still 40 games to be played away from home. This is the story of what happens when a minor league hockey team takes their show on the road and plays the other half of the season. The United Hockey League is comprised of 14 teams, the Rockford IceHogs and the Quad City Mallards in Illinois, the Missouri River Otters and Kansas City Outlaws in Missouri. In Michigan, there's the Muskegon Fury, Kalamazoo Wings, Flint Generals, Motor City Mechanics, and Port Huron Beacons. The Fort Wayne Comets are in Indiana, and on the East Coast, there's the Richmond River Dogs in Virginia, the Elmira Jackals and Adirondack Frostbite from the state of New York, and the Danbury Trashers in Connecticut. The UHL is considered Double-A hockey, or 2 steps below the National Hockey League. In sharp contrast to the NHL, which flies its teams to road games, the UHL is strictly a bus league.
You know, each team will secure a bus company, and usually that's put out to bid. Once we get our schedule, we inform the bus companies. They see what they can price each of the trips at. Each of the team is responsible for securing a host hotel, which locks in a league rate for each of the teams to stay at. So then when we're on the road, it actually makes it a little bit easier because our person here knows each hotel they're supposed to contact, knows the rate that's set, and really just determines, comes down to really just booking the date and making sure that they have enough rooms for us when we come into town that weekend.
To help owners keep travel costs manageable, which can add up to more than $100,000 per year, including bus, hotel, and per diem, the UHL tries to schedule more games for teams located in a shared geographic region.
We try to structure our divisions in ways that we are playing people that are closer to us more times, and you can see that with our schedule. With the times we play Missouri or Quad City are going to be a lot more than we're going to play some of the teams like Port Huron or teams that are farther away.
Using Adirondack as an example, travel costs are minimized by scheduling the Frostbite to play Elmira 18 times, Danbury 17 times, and Richmond 17 times. Those 3 teams comprise 65% of Adirondack's schedule. For the Rockford IceHogs, who were not scheduled to travel to the East Coast this season, their average road trip is 320 miles each way. That's about 10 hours round trip on a cramped bus filled with 20 players and their hockey equipment.
I think one of the toughest things about traveling on the road in this league is the bus trips. In other leagues, you fly places and you get to stay overnight for 2 or 3 nights, where in this league, you're on the bus maybe for 8 hours. You play a game the next day, or maybe even that night, and then you're on the bus again, going somewhere else.
If you're going someplace after a game and you're going to be on the bus 4 hours, it's, with me, I don't want to stay up till 3 in the morning. Some players don't mind because a lot of time we have the day off the next day or no morning skate.
I've been in one situation, I think it was 7 games and 8 nights, all in different towns, and you're playing a game, you're traveling, and you're getting to the other town, 5, 6 in the morning. You get up, get some breakfast, and pretty much when you get there, you get something to eat, then you get something a little later on, and you go play a game, and you just sleep, eat, and play. That's all you do for a week straight.
The bus isn't the greatest. I mean, it's not like a rolling limousine or whatever, but I mean, it's all right. I like it.
You're going to play half your games on the road, so just, I don't really think that much about it. I just know when a season starts, half our games are going to be at home and half are going to be on the road.
This is the Great Lakes Sports City Superior Arena in Fraser, Michigan, also known as The Garage, a fitting nickname for the home rink of the Motor City Mechanics, an expansion team playing their first season in the UHL. It's the middle of December, and the Rockford IceHogs have traveled almost 400 miles to play this game tonight. The IceHogs are wearing their home whites because of a league tradition of home teams wearing their road jerseys during the month of December. For many fans, it's the only chance they get to see their team's road jerseys in game action. Although the 2004-2005 season is already 2 months old, it's only the 5th road game for the IceHogs. They'll play the Mechanics a total of 6 times this season, 2 games in Rockford and 4 games at the Garage. The puck drops and the game is underway. It's the first of a 4-game road trip that will take the IceHogs through Michigan and Indiana on Friday and Saturday, then back here to Fraser for a Sunday rematch. The first period has great end-to-end action, with Rockford testing Motor City's goalie, Rod Branch, early and often.
Back down low, Leyland got it back. High slot, that was tipped in front, right into the gut of Branch. As Ralph Watson, he'll wind in fire. There's a bad save.
Rockford has put several shots on net, but it's Motor City who's first to find the back of the net.
Here's a centering pass in front. Now another quick pass in front and a goal. Bonk got it. You can see that one coming. Robinson's arguing the net was knocked off its moorings down there, but he's not going to win that argument. And it's 1-0 Mechanics.
The Motor City goal has fired up Steve Martinson and this very small Wednesday night crowd that was announced at 1,016. The Garage can hold 3,400 hockey fans, but with the Mechanics in the cellar of their division, hockey is a tough ticket to sell in Fraser. With a crowd this size, there's no home ice advantage for the Mechanics, and it's not much fun being a visiting team either.
Playing in Motor City when there's 1,000 people in the crowd, or probably not even, I don't even know if they were getting that. It definitely is hard to get motivated, and maybe that's our excuse why we haven't played well up there. I don't know. I don't think we can really have one, but you'd like to think that it doesn't matter. You like to push the crowd out and say, we're here to do a job, we're here to play hockey, we're here to win. But when there's that few people, it does bring you down. It's almost depressing.
Playing against Motor City, no, there's not a lot of guys that like playing there, because when you're on the road, you need something to put yourself in the game, and if you show up and there's just a couple hundred fans, it's always hard to play.
You'd hate to play for Motor City because every home game, you don't have the advantage of a home crowd. So going on the road and not having a lot of fans is, it's tough to get up for those games.
Then, at the 18-20 mark of the first period, Rockford's defense gives up a breakaway.
Back on a break. Hey, shot, breakaway goal.
Rockford's Michelle Robinson and Motor City's Rod Branch both played a great first period, but it was Motor City who was skating into the locker room with a 2-goal lead, despite the IceHogs outshooting the Mechanics 20-10 in the period. Once the second period got underway, some Motor City fans who were sitting behind the IceHogs bench started to make their presence known, and Coach Martinson was their first target.
I very rarely hear him because nowadays you got the high glass, but I've got a few comebacks that I might say something to somebody, and with me I go right for the heart. I don't mess around. And if you're going to say something to me, you better be ready. You better have thick skin. And I might say it just to humor myself, just to, you know, the fans, they can say what they want, you know, as long as they're not disrupting the people around them and there's not using profanity around kids. But you know, sometimes I'll say things just so that they can yell at me a little bit more, you know, because I've never minded being the bad guy.
Halfway through the second period, and Rockford is still looking for their first goal. And the better Rod Branch plays in net, the more frustrated Rockford becomes. Then, on their 29th shot on net, Rockford breaks through the Rod Branch brick wall.
Here's Alda at the point, skates it to the high slot. Alda to the backhand, in front, shot, goal! Alda, nice move down there, and he has his first goal of the season. Rockford cuts into the lead 2-1.
Rockford cuts the Motor City lead in half, and the hecklers have now turned their attention to IceHogs players. The Mechanics took a 2-1 lead into the second intermission and held their ground during several IceHogs power play opportunities. But now it's a tight game late in the third period, and the last thing Rockford needs is to give Motor City a power play. Luckily for the IceHogs, Bruce Watson goes to the box with a fighting major, much to the pleasure of some Mechanics fans. They may be laughing now, but it was Rockford who got the last laugh.
Here's Ralph. He'll circle in the corner. In front for Ruud. That one tipped in. Goal! Ruud hammered it home and we're tied. What a setup back behind the net by Jason Ralph and JF 2-4.
After being down 2-0, Rockford fights their way back into the game, and at the end of regulation, the contest is tied.
And the horn will sound, and we're going to a shootout.
In the United Hockey League, games are decided by 5 rounds of a one-on-one shootout. And the last time Rockford was here, the Mechanics won that game in a shootout.
Here's Ruud. Ruud will skate it hard up the middle and Branch from the high side. Ruud shot, kick save by Branch. Number 17 will start hard up the middle. Hunter in on Robinson. Hunter shot, nice save, Robinson. 2-4. Brings it up from the far side. Now across the slot, shot. Another nice save by Branch. Now here's Goldie. Goldie up the middle. Robinson up to Chelios. Goldie shot. That one trickled in onto Robinson. Robinson made the initial save. But the puck bounced down on the ice underneath them, and the Mechanics have the 1-0 lead in the shootout. Ralph will bring it up slowly from Branch's right. Branch has the stick out. Ralph, deke, shot, and that was deflected wide. Here's Burton. In on Robinson's shot. Robinson also let that one trickle through. Almost a mirror image of the Goldie goal. In on Branch. Leyland to keep the Hogs alive. Leyland, deke, shot, fanned on it, game's over. That's the game. The IceHogs fall 3-2 in a shootout this evening.
Motor City gets the win and 2 standings points, while Rockford gets back on the team bus with 1 standings point for the shootout loss. It was a missed opportunity against a team Rockford should have beat. There are two types of road trips: the road trip that is long enough to require an overnight stay, and the day trip, where the opponent is close enough to travel to the game and back in one day. One of those teams that falls under the day trip heading is the Quad City Mallards in Moline, Illinois, and the IceHogs are playing there tonight. JJ Tews is the team's athletic trainer, and he's got 2 hours to get ready before the bus leaves.
Usually, like say if it's a day trip, depending on like what time, like say a team has to be here at a specific time, I'll try to be here about 2 hours before the team arrives, and then that's usually about a half hour before the bus leaves. So that gives me about 2.5 hours to set up, pack my 4 bags that I pack, make sure I have all the stuff I need for myself for the trip.
Once JJ has loaded his bags on the bus, he makes the rounds around the locker room to check on players with injuries to see if they need any treatment before hitting the road. JC Ruid gets treatment for a groin injury he's been battling all season. Chris Plumhoff, the equipment manager for the IceHogs, has laid out each player's uniform and equipment in their locker stalls, but it's each player's responsibility to pack their travel bags and load it on the bus. The rookies also have the responsibility of loading the stick bag, skate sharpener, and stereo system on the bus and unloading them when they get to the Quad Cities. The bus is scheduled to leave the Rockford MetroCentre and travel straight through to Moline, a 2-hour ride, and that means no team meal on this trip. But that's okay because the Rockford Booster Club has it covered. No matter if it's a day trip or a week-long road trip, each player receives a bag of treats from their Booster Club sponsor on every single road trip.
The Booster Club members are great for when we go on the road. I mean, they usually have you know, a bunch of food that just goes to the front of the bus where anybody can take it. I mean, there's fruit, there's cookies, there's usually pretzels and drinks and stuff.
The Booster Club's importance is beyond what I can ever dream of. I know that there's so many things behind the scenes that they set up, that they put together that make our lives a little easier.
Everybody has like a booster family or a booster that looks after them, and at the beginning of the year they came and asked us, okay, you know, what do you like for the road? Do you like, you know, with my booster family, they're great. They bring me water, some candy, you know, some bananas or something.
I mean, making our lives comfortable is, you know, something that we as players take for granted, but, you know, we couldn't sort of live the way we do without them.
It's 3 p.m., 4 hours before game time, and the players are getting on the bus. JC Ruid is finished with his treatment and grabs his foam pad and bus pillow, 2 essential road trip items, and gets on board. A late arriving Mike Peck will get a hard time from Coach Martinson, who likes to be on time for road games, and the 2-hour trip southwest begins. Next stop, the Quad Cities. Situated on the Mississippi River, the mark of the Quad Cities is a horseshoe-shaped hockey rink that seats 9,175 for Mallards games. Quad City has been in the league since 1995, and in that time they have won 3 UHL championships, including the 2000-2001 season when they finished with only 12 losses all year. Because the Quad Cities are only 120 miles from Rockford and the two teams will play each other 12 times, the Mallards have become bitter rivals with the IceHogs. And for the fans, these games are some of the most anticipated of the season. Rockford has had unprecedented success against the Mallards this year, going 5-1 against them leading up to tonight's game. Because the mark of the Quad Cities doesn't have large locker rooms for the visitors, teams must use 2 smaller locker rooms to get dressed in. The forwards share one of the rooms, while the defensemen and goalies use the other. In the trainer's room, JJ Tews is taping up the ankle of Olivier Prue, then applies ointment to Steve Peltier's shoulder. Chris Plumhoff is giving the skates of Steve Peltier a brand new edge, and at about 40 minutes before game time, IceHogs goalie Michelle Robinson leads the way for the pregame warm-ups.
Playing Quad City, no, for me personally, I like it. No, because like I was saying earlier, like just fans like over there, it's a big rivalry between Rockford and Quad City.
Quad City is a fun rink to play in because, that's one of the teams that you love to beat the most. And as well, it's a great rink to play in. It's one of those rinks, you get in there, you look around, there's some size to it. As well, there's usually a lot of fans in there, which create a good atmosphere.
Quad City, I really don't like playing in that barn for some reason. Partially because of the fact that you can't really predict where the puck's going, especially when it's getting wrapped. Robbie has a hard time predicting where that puck comes. Sometimes it's getting wrapped around and it'll jump right in front of the net for an easy goal.
They've been the big kids on the block, and they're not taking losing too well this year, and it's fun to have things switched around.
The IceHogs enter the game in first place in the Western Division, and tonight's contest is at the tail end of 7 straight games on the road. It's another Wednesday night crowd at the Mark of the Quad Cities, where 3,400 hockey fans have come to watch one of the best rivalries in all of minor league hockey. The game starts with JJ2s behind the bench, ready at a moment's notice to help with an injured player.
Well, when a player gets injured on the ice, usually if it's for some reason I'm not watching, is the type of injuries I don't like, because then I don't know what happened. And usually by knowing what happened, I can pretty much judge what is the problem.
A first period collision by Rod Aldoff into the end boards keeps JJ on the alert but behind the bench. Moments later, JJ is called to the ice to tend to injured IceHogs goaltender Michelle Robinson. Robinson was in an awkward position when he took a hard slap shot to his exposed right knee between his padding.
No, fuck.
Fuck it?
Yeah, it's gonna be alright, just fucking hurts for now.
Okay. Just take a second. Here, I'll pretend like I'm looking at it to wait some more time for you. The normal response to a person is it's going to be excruciatingly painful right away. And at first, they're not going to want to do anything. And like they say, time heals all wounds.
The pain and numbness will be something Robinson will have to play with, and JJ will re-examine him during the first intermission. When play resumes, the Quad City Mallards go right after the injured IceHogs goaltender. Mallards forward Greg Barber makes a great move on Robinson, but can't hit the wide-open net. The bad luck streak continues when the Mallards appear to have scored the game's first goal. At this point in the game, the score easily could have been Quad City 2, Rockford 0. But it would be Rockford that would go up 2-0 to the Mallards late first period, thanks to this goal line to goal line effort by IceHogs rookie forward Miguel LaFleche. And this power play goal from forward Terry Harrison. It's proved to be a difficult period to watch for Mallards president and general manager Howard Cornfield. First intermission contests at Mallards games are quite inventive, especially this game of pig in a blanket that capitalizes on the rivalry with the IceHogs. Fans at the Mark were treated to a very entertaining second period. Mallards goalie Jeff Raynert and IceHogs goalie Michelle Robinson made spectacular saves, and the Mallards cut into the IceHogs lead with this even-strength rebound goal from winger Joe Duzbabin. There were also 14 minor penalties called in the period, but both teams could not capitalize on their opportunities. Then, with less than a minute to play in the period, IceHogs coach Steve Martinson, whose team was already on a power play, called for a stick check on the Mallards to possibly give his team a 5-on-3 advantage over Quad City. Referee Brett Klazowski measured the stick in question and found it had an illegal curve to it. The illegal equipment minor gave Coach Martinson and the IceHogs a 5-on-3 power play. But the Mallards were able to keep the IceHogs from scoring in the period thanks to the acrobatic efforts of Mallards goalie Jeff Raynert. When the Rockford IceHogs enter the ice to begin the third period, several players make a beeline to the stick rack to remove any potentially illegal sticks. Rockford knows that because the Mallards have been caught using an illegal stick, they'll be looking closely at the lumber the IceHogs use during the rest of the game. There's one stick IceHogs defenseman Nathan Lutz isn't comfortable with, and he hides it behind the bench as Mallards head coach Paul Gillis walks by. Less than 20 minutes remain in a game that has Rockford clinging to a 1-goal lead. The game remained 2-1 thanks to some great IceHogs defense and some unbelievable Mallards luck.
What the fuck are you doing?
With barely a minute left in the game and both teams playing 4-on-4 hockey, Mallards coach Paul Gillis calls a timeout. Then, not to be outdone in his own arena, Coach Gillis calls for a stick check on IceHogs forward J.C. Ruid. It's a risky move by the Mallards coach because the IceHogs, knowing this might happen, have presumably removed any illegal sticks from the bench before the start of the third period. Referee Brett Klazowski measures Ruid's stick, and his reaction says it all. Coach Gillis sends Jeff Raynert to the bench in exchange for an extra shooter, and the Mallards will spend the remaining minute on a tension-filled 5-on-3 power play, needing 1 goal to send this game to a shootout. But with 8.9 seconds left, Rockford's Miguel Lafleche puts the finishing touches on a 2-goal, 3-point night with an empty netter. And the IceHogs fans who have grown accustomed to their team being dominated by the Mallards for the last 5 years react after watching Rockford win this game 3-1 and 6 out of 7 games against Quad City.
Oh, the game was awesome. Gives us a winning record against Quad Cities already for the year.
6-1. Could be any better. Awesome game.
Woohoo! They played great.
Rockford athletic trainer J.J. Tews had one scary moment tonight, but beyond the normal bumps and bruises, the IceHogs came away relatively healthy.
I'd say injury-wise, came away pretty good. The occasional slash and cross-check, of course. I wasn't scared. The goalie, Robbie, a little worried, but we'll see how it goes tomorrow. They're always fine now, but as soon as the end of the bus trip, maybe a little more sore, and then tomorrow they might be hurting. So we'll see.
Then there's the issue with the illegal stick by J.C. Ruid.
the JC's stick that was checked that was illegal is because of the width of the blade. There's a certain width, and they have this stick gauge, and it has to slide perfectly off the blade. And if it gets anywhere caught, you know, or snagged, then it's an illegal stick that way. But they'll also check for a curve. There's a certain, it's got to be no more than ½ inch of a curve, and that's what we called them for during the second period, and that's why we got the power play. And what they call it is what illegal equipment. So what they'll do is just take the stick and hold it till the end of the game and we get it back. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, they were kind of not happy with us calling the stick penalty on them, so, you know it was coming.
I think a lot of people think they just go on the road and have fun and you know, go out and party, and they do every once in a while, but when they know they have to step up, they step up. And I never hear Marty tell them that they have to step up. I think they just automatically know it.
A lot of our road trips aren't that long. You know, you get on a bus and off a bus. We don't have team meals all the time because just the way things are set up, it might not be convenient or whatever. So
sometimes when you play at home, your fans, you feel a bit of pressure where, you know, maybe you have to put on a bit of a show, where when you play on the road, you know, you're basically there just to win, get your 2 points. So you might play a simpler game and just, you know, you worry about winning the game and nothing else.
You know, I guess, well, a positive for me is, you know, I've gotten to see, you know, certain parts of America that, you know, I normally wouldn't have. So, you know, it's for the past 10 years or so, I've been, you know, traveling around quite a bit, and I've gotten to see a good part of the world.
Part of a player's salary, as outlined in his contract, is the requirement of the IceHogs to pay a per diem to cover costs associated with road trips. And the amount of per diem depends on when the bus leaves Rockford.
The per diem, it is actually, I think in our contract, it says, like, you know, if you leave before noon on a road trip, you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner money. If you leave, I think, after noon, you're supposed to have breakfast on your own, so you don't get the $6 or $5, whatever it is, for breakfast. And, you know, like I said, I think of it as free money, but it is in our contract, and there are guys that, you know, if we're leaving at 11:59, you know, they want that $6 for breakfast. And I think teams consciously will leave after noon so that they don't have to give you the $6 for breakfast.
As far as the per diems go, it's pretty cut and dry. The league mandates what each player gets per diem. For the full day, it's $25, and obviously it's prorated then depending on how many meals, if it's only a dinner, if it's only a lunch, so to speak. So you take $25 depending on how many days you're gone. That will give you your per diem that you'll need.
You know, there's some guys that are consciously worried about how much per diem we get on the road, like, oh, come on, we left at noon, we should be getting breakfast, or we left, you know, this and that. I personally, I get whatever's in my envelope. I consider it to be, you know, money that I would be spending out of my own pocket. I know we're supposed to get it, but per diem, I don't even know what it is in the league, to tell you the truth. It might be $30. So you break that up, say, you know, I don't know what they give us, $6 for breakfast maybe, you know, 10 for lunch, and then what, you know, so I don't really worry about it too much, but there's certain guys that are going to bitch about it every road trip, you know, oh, they gave us $20, that's bullshit, you know, where I get it and I say, oh, you know, I got free money.
For the players and staff, there are some necessities to bring on the bus that ensures a happy and comfortable road trip.
Must bring on bus trips, definitely a pillow and a blanket, because when you're trying to sleep, it's impossible unless you have a pillow and a blanket. I mean, you're not looking just to take a quick 20-minute nap most of the time. Most of the time, you're looking to shut it down for a couple hours.
Well, lately, a must to bring on the bus is definitely cards. I'm learning. Mike Peck and I, and Steve, and JJ usually play hearts. I'm learning it. I'm awful. I suck.
I always bring workout stuff. I always try to go to a gym, and you know, so I'm always bringing a little bit more than the players. Sometimes, obviously, the players don't always have to wear a suit. If we get right on the bus and off the bus, you know, they just wear their warm-ups.
I need a good little blanket to cover the bottom of the bus, so, you know, sometimes I can lay down and, you know, not have to deal with the bumps in the seat, because it kind of, you know, it wears on you after a while. So, you know, kind of squeeze underneath the seats and, you know, throw yourself a nice little cushion on the floor of the bus, and that's that. But yeah, if I forget any of those, I definitely get on the bus. I'm not nearly as happy as I could be.
A must also are movies. We need plenty of movies to watch, plenty of blankets and pillows, reading material, whether pornographic or newspapers.
Since the bus is home to 20 people for half the hockey season, there are rules of conduct on the bus that each person must live by.
Some rules to live by on the bus. Well, one, going number 2 on the bus is a $50 fine.
You can't take a dump on the bus. You can't go to the back of the bus and drop a deuce back there.
The major rule to live by on the bus is you can't take a dump in the bus, and that's anyone, because that's a fine. That's a $50 fine. Just because obviously a bus doesn't flush out, so it kind of lingers, stays in there, and it's.
And don't take 5 peas on the bus, like, you know what I mean? We got the couple squirrel bladders that are up and down friggin' 10 times, because guys like to lie across the seats trying to get some sleep, and you got, you know, the same guy going to the bathroom 5 times in a row. That's also a no-no.
For me, one of the rules that I go by, being from the front office, and I know a lot of other people from the front office have kind of abided by this rule, is you really don't, you know, you try to just, you know, sit there and you don't make yourself noticed, especially at the start of the season. You know, you try to blend in a little bit, and that's what I try to do. And obviously, I have a big mouth, so it's harder to do than it sounds.
But late at night, when guys are trying to sleep, your cell phone, make sure it's turned down low, because certain head coaches kind of get annoyed who can't sleep too well on the bus, get annoyed at any little noise.
There is a hierarchy of seating order on the bus usually. You know, usually older guys sit at the back of the bus, and then the younger guys sit at the front, stuff like that. Some guys might want, you always sit in the same seats too. Like, you never move seats, so, you know, it's just known that that's, you know, that's so-and-so's seat, and you don't sit in their seat.
I was told when I kind of started that like most of the staff sits up in the front, and I was supposed to take the seat from, you know, the trainers in the past.
I think I sit up front probably because I'm away from the players, which, you know, let them do their own thing. They don't need to have to worry about me back there. And plus, if you're sitting up front away from them, you know, they can't mess around with you. They like to pull some practical jokes and do things like that. And this kind of prevents them from doing stuff like that.
It's Thursday night in Fraser, Michigan, and the Rockford IceHogs are in town to play the Motor City Mechanics for the last time this season. Because Fraser is 400 miles or 8 hours, including the time change from Rockford, this road trip is long enough to require leaving a day early. Coach Martinson assigns 2 players to a room and single rooms for himself and the bus driver. After a long bus ride across Michigan, the team is anxious to get some real sleep on a bed that isn't moving 75 miles per hour. It's Friday morning on a game day. One of the most memorable games in each of these players' careers will take place in 11 short hours, and the boys are trying to keep the butterflies away by going about their normal game day schedule. Some of the team is eating the continental breakfast, while others are reading about the highly anticipated game in the morning newspapers, including an article about Rockford, with a picture of Eric LaBelle and Vince Maltz practicing fighting in one of the Detroit papers. This morning, the team has made arrangements to get in some practice time at the rink. As a rule, if the home team has a morning skate, they must offer ice time to the visiting team, and Rockford boards the bus to take advantage of some extra preparation for tonight's contest. The team arrives at the Great Lakes Sports City Superior Arena, unloads their hockey gear, and enters the rink through the back door. Motor City is practicing when the IceHogs show up, and as Rockford watches the mechanics skate, it becomes clear there are 2 huge reasons why this is a completely different Motor City team than the last time the IceHogs played the mechanics. Reason number 1, 14-year pro Darren Hatcher. Reason number 2, 23-year veteran and future Hall of Famer Chris Chelios. Both played for the Detroit Red Wings last year, and both are skating for the mechanics tonight. Chelios and Hatcher are casualties of the lockout imposed by NHL owners. Recently, the 2004-2005 NHL season was canceled, and for NHL players who still wanted to play hockey, their choice was either leave their family behind and play in Europe, or take a pay cut and play in the minor leagues. For Darren Hatcher, this is the first time he's played in the minor leagues since 1992, when he played 2 games for Kalamazoo in the old IHL. For Chris Chelios, this is the first time he's ever played in the minor leagues. Having 2 NHL stars playing in the United Hockey League has brought instant credibility to AA hockey and mixed feelings for the players who will skate against them tonight.
It was a great thrill. You see him in the morning skate. We had gotten there the night before, and you see him practicing in the morning, and you're looking out there thinking, boy, I've seen those guys on TV quite a bit, and for the Olympics, and they're people that you look up to for how hard they've committed themselves to the game that you love.
One, I was looking forward to the game. I mean, anytime you can play against players that have played at a higher level and that should be playing at a higher level, you look forward to measuring yourself up to them. Like, you want to be on the ice with them, and you want to prove that you can play with them and against them.
Knowing that we're going to play against NHLers for the first time, and it was the first game, it just felt kind of awkward. Because I remember playing Sega Genesis and just playing with Chris Chelios or Darren Hatcher, and now you're actually going to play against them. So now you don't really know how to react.
I just looked at what it meant at the bottom line, and they had a couple of players that weren't going to be in top shape, weren't going to be in game shape, weren't going to be up to speed as far as what they could actually do when they're 100%. But I thought that their team would play harder, having those guys in the lineup and having a couple of leaders like that. They're both captains of teams, and both of them very strong leaders. And my big thing is I wanted to beat them. I wanted those guys to be minus, and I didn't want it to be like 2 NHL players could come in and make a difference.
In my mind, they're taking jobs away from guys at this level that could be playing, and they're locked out. So I think, I don't know, it's a double-edged sword, because one, I wanted to play against them, and I wanted to have fun, and I wanted to chirp them, and I wanted to get under their skin. But on the other hand, I just thought that, for them to sign and play, I thought it was kind of silly.
Rockford heads to their locker room to get dressed for the morning skate. While morning skates are mandatory, it's up to the players how much they want to participate. Most will use the time to stretch and warm up, while others will run drills during the 45 minutes to an hour-long session. It's also a time for injured players who won't see game action tonight to do some rehabilitation. Rockford gets a surprise visitor to the practice this morning. Colonel Dan McDade from Rockford is a United States Marine stationed in Virginia. Colonel McDade took a 3-day leave to be at this game, and he wanted to meet Coach Martinson and his favorite IceHogs player, J.C. Ruud, and wish them luck tonight. In a few weeks, Colonel McDade will begin a tour of duty in Iraq. Back on the ice, the team stretches while Coach Martinson takes advantage of the ice time to get in a workout as well. The morning skate is just part of a busy schedule for IceHogs players on the road.
Typical game day schedule when we're on the road would be, it kind of depends on what game it is on the road, but if it was the first day on the road and we traveled there the night before, we'd wake up, have a morning skate at around 11:15, so you'd set your wake-up call for 9, go eat breakfast, get to the rink around 10:30, probably shower at the rink, get your gear on, skate for about 45 minutes, after shower up after. Then we'd go right to lunch. Sometimes we have a meal set up, and sometimes we're on our own because we get meal money. So I'd go eat. I like to eat as early as possible. So say I'd eat by 12:30. I like to eat Olive Garden's my favorite. Chicken Parmesan, salad, then right back to bed. I like to be in bed, and I like to nap for 3 hours if possible.
The team bus will leave the hotel in 15 minutes, and IceHogs forwards Chris Gobert and Terry Harrison relax in front of the television. Downstairs in the lobby, many of the IceHogs players already have their game faces on. It's a short 10-minute bus ride from the hotel to the rink, and when the Rockford bus arrives, it's immediately apparent the team will be playing in front of many more people than the last time they were at the garage, and in front of more media than before. Because the IceHogs practiced this morning, their equipment and uniforms are already in the locker rooms. Then, before the boys start to get dressed, Coach Martinson has some thoughts about tonight's game for his team.
With a couple of guys, you know, obviously Hatcher and Chelios playing, two things, they're not going to be, you know, the NHL caliber that they normally are because their timing, I think it's just like, what's his name, Gomez, when first 15 games, you know, he didn't do much and then now he's fucking burning up the league. I'm glad that these guys are playing for him because hopefully when, you know, when those guys get up to speed, they'll beat some teams that, you know, that are trying to catch us. But the other thing is we've come in here and not played very well. We've come in here and just kind of played to their level, which, you know, they're going to help their team a lot, but not enough to beat us. That's my whole point. And it might be the only chance that you get to play against those guys ever. And maybe not. I don't know. Maybe because Chelios will be retired by the time you guys get to the NHL. But the point is, it'll be nice to fucking. It'll be nice to, you know, it'll be nice to beat the guy. You know, I mean, Hatcher's foot speed is not going to be great. I heard he got walked a couple of times the other night. Chelios is always in great shape, and he's a shifty, fucking, hard-working, gritty guy. The one thing I've read, you know, I've read some articles. We want to treat those guys just like anybody else. But, you know, I think there's a level of respect. You don't want to cheap shot guys and run guys from behind and try to get something like that. You know, we don't have that team, so it's not not even really an issue. But we want to treat those guys, you know, we got to hit them and treat them like, you know, normal fucking hockey players. But also, I think it's a little feather in the cap that those fucking guys are minus against us, you know, at the end of the night. That's what I'd love to see besides the win. See those guys minus, and thanks for giving us all the fans to come watch us fucking beat them tonight. Hey?
Let's do it, boys. Let's go. Ready, right?
As the team gets ready for pregame warm-ups,
you know how much better these are?
one of the team's more vocal leaders is full of nervous energy.
I don't know, talk them out. He's been using Easton all year. It's going to break. Guaranteed it'll break tonight. When I slash somebody.
Yes, I only sign OPG.
Yeah.
No comments on the game.
No, I only sign Upper Deck. Stadium Club cards. Stadium Club. No.
$8 a pack.
Yeah. I got to talk to my agent first. I'm not carving anybody like that on the mic. Here we go! Want a puck, bud?
With a half hour before face-off, there's a lot of energy in the building. With no NHL this season, tonight's game is a chance for Detroit Red Wings fans to see two of their star players play hockey. Coach Martinson and IceHogs GM Ryan Washatka watch the mechanics warm up, and Rockford Register Star reporter Reed Schreck finishes dinner while Mike Peck gets ready for his broadcast. The IceHogs locker room is full of energy as well.
I'm gonna be like, you've probably been in Malibu at your beach house getting all tanned up, loser. Wait a minute.
That's what
Wait a minute. Yeah. Malibu Beach Boy. Rich guy.
Hey, good one, Rob. Good one.
I'm like, I'm just gonna leave now, Mr. Chelios.
Saw this chili upstairs. See that?
He's like, yeah, I got 5 rings, kid. Whatever, man. He's got a watch. Till we go out? Holy. 10. 10?
No salt. Sorry about that series, Harry.
I didn't see Hatcher coming down on you.
Guys, get me over here.
Perfect.
Green water.
Couple things. First, before your line starting with Maltz. Maltz and Lewis and Newport line start.
That's a fucking start.
We're starting nuts.
Hey guys, on our power play now, I was saying before that we might need a guy or two to help it, and after watching the tape the last few weeks and knowing what we got, we just got to move our feet and be smarter. Got to move our feet, be smarter, be better with the puck, support the puck. We got everything that we fucking need to have a good power play, right? Got to move our feet. Let's do a fucking better job with that tonight.
Lots of shots, boys, huh?
Robbie's all decked out.
Woo! Where's your fucking bucket? No?
It's in the mail. You got a bucket coming?
Yeah, KFC. KFC.
Trying to think on that. No, that's okay. Go ahead. Go for it.
Hey,
You're in the A-room.
hey, keep it down.
This is the A-room.
As would be expected, the Motor City Mechanics owners and staff have pulled out all the stops for tonight's game.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for some hockey?
Let's fucking beat these clowns tonight, eh? Let's fucking beat these guys. All of a sudden, it's a big fucking show. Are they here to see me or Chelios and the other guys? I thought they were here. I don't know. I thought they came to see me. I don't know.
Never seen us anything.
So how about they never do anything before a game? Now they got big production. And... Oh well. They got a mascot now. They never had one before. No player ones or what? Hey, they never had a mascot before. What a fucking loser. They're not cheering for you. It's a good anthem, huh? Win it! Win it!
JJ.
What do you want, water? I don't know. Lucy!
Let's go, big start, boys.
Come on, boys, play to our potential tonight, huh? Let's not play down to them. Shelly's probably tougher.
This was the Garage when Rockford was here on December 15th. And this is the Garage tonight. 3,100 hockey fans here to see the new look Mechanics play the Rockford IceHogs, and the game gets underway.
I got Harry. Come on, take a look. Come in! Come in! Outside. Let's go, huh?
Barely a minute into the contest, Nathan Lutz draws a penalty, putting the Mechanics on their first power play of the night.
Who's going to be the shooter here? Hatcher, eh? Can we just take Hatcher right out or what? Yeah, that boy, Hatch! Hold up!
Then, like a page from a Hollywood movie, on his first shot on goal in his first minor league game, Chris Chelios draws first blood.
Worked it behind the Rockford net for Bunk. On the near side, Burton with it to the point. Chelios, quick shot, that's deflected in goal. I think Chelios is going to get it, and it's 1-0 Mechanics.
Mechanics, power play goal. Scorer, number 7, Chris Chelios.
On his next shift, Jason Ralph takes a moment to congratulate Chelios on his goal.
Let the kids play, Charlie. Been hitting the fucking gym or the tanning bed. Holy fuck. Jesus Christ.
And to give Darren Hatcher a warm welcome.
Is this a publicity stunt or are you guys serious here?
Good plan.
Come on. Let's be honest with each other. Boys, you really got to respect the points here. Fuck, you know who they're going to go to? Get up. Coming hard. Come on, Malty. Get this draw. Shot! 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 Someone shoot it. JC! Anticipate! There you go. No, 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 not too low, Ollie. Harry! Go, 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 go. That boy, Robbie. Fucking know they got a couple NHLers. You're gonna let them do shit all night? Like holding right there? Good call. I tell you, get a penalty call by talking to the ref.
At 17:50 of the first period, the Mechanics get IceHogs goalie Michelle Robinson looking the other way and put another on the board.
In the corner for the Mechanics, ran into Aldoff. Now Maltz behind the plate. Quick shot, that snuck in another goal. Smith tipped it right between the pads of Robinson, and it's 2-0.
For Jason Ralph and the rest of the IceHogs, the first period was a big disappointment, and the 2-0 deficit was not sitting well with Coach Martinson.
And we just had a shift where we fucking skated, but if you don't skate out there, you can't fucking get anything fucking done. We're a team that relies on fucking skating. So fucking skate and communicate on the ice. Tell the guy, move.
It's obvious that the additions of Darren Hatcher and Chris Chelios have given the rest of the Motor City Mechanics a much-needed spark. But the question remains, how much is this spark costing the Mechanics owners? The UHL has a salary cap of $260,000 per year. Before the NHL lockout, Darren Hatcher was in the second year of a 5-year, $30 million contract with Detroit. Chris Chelios was an unrestricted free agent, but was expected to sign a 1-year, $2.3 million deal with the Red Wings if the lockout ended. So how could Motor City afford millionaire hockey players?
Quite honestly, our cap is not a hard cap. It is not a, you know, at the end of the year you have to be at 250. It is a luxury tax cap. So some teams may make the, with the understanding, they may decide that by bringing in Chris Chelios or a Darren Hatcher, we are going to exceed that cap, and paying a 200% luxury tax for every dollar over that cap is well worth it. You know, if that's going to put extra people in the seats and get extra hype, I mean, that definitely helped them penetrate the Detroit media market and get some attention to what they had going on in Fraser. That may be worth paying that luxury tax if they were to exceed the salary cap. So every team has to kind of make that decision, but there's not like a a strict penalty if you go over. It's basically, okay, you went $5,000 over, now you owe the league 10 grand, you owe a 200% tax on that. So you can exceed it. It depends on the team and the makeup. You know, some ownerships, if you have the money and you're doing very well and you think it benefits your ability to sell tickets and put a winning product on the ice, it's really the way our league's set up. It's your prerogative to do that.
The second period gets underway and the IceHogs come out more aggressive, but so do the mechanics, as Jason Ralph quickly finds out.
Fucking retards.
Go, watch it, go!
Get a shot, get a shot! Oh, fuck. That had eyes. Not the fucking shift, that'll fucking start us, come on! Come on, Chelios, you old fuck, skate!
Rockford is playing better than they did in the first period, but Motor City adds another on the scoreboard, putting the IceHogs into a deep 3-0 hole. But one shift at a time, Rockford starts to dig out of that hole.
Hey, Chelios had it in the fucking crease. What if he grabs it from the crease and moves it over? And he's still holding on to it. And hold on to it though. He had it under him, he held on to it.
Then with Darren Hatcher not watching the back door, Rockford finally gets on the board with this Olivier Prue goal.
Over the line for Rockford, centers it in front for Prue, that one hammered in, goal! Nice setup from Dufour, and the Hogs cut the lead to 2.
Fight back here, boy!
With the game a little closer, both teams are now playing a little more aggressively.
Leave it be. Fucking joke. No, don't fucking bother. I'm not hurt. Fuck him.
The illegal hit to Ralph puts Rockford on the power play, and IceHogs forward Terry Harrison buries the puck to cut into the Mechanics' lead some more.
By Hatcher, another loose puck, and the Hogs couldn't convert. 2-4 for the Flash, centering pass in front, goal! Harrison hit it top shelf, it's 3-2. A power play marker for Rockford to cut into the lead.
Motor City now has let Rockford climb back into the game, and things are starting to get interesting.
Fucking die when I spear you. Ho! No hold. Easy. Just let go of him. Just let go of him. Fucking let go. I don't think he's 6'5". I don't think he needs a fucking babysitter playing the fucking Central League all his life. That's all. If I play in the show, he's 6'5". He's babysitter? Oh, fuck no. Fucking joke. Like I'm gonna fight him anyway. Fucking goof. I know Hatcher plays in the NHL, but he can't two-hand guys. You know, like out front. Cross check! I know he plays in the NHL, it's still a fucking cross check!
The second period ends with Rockford scoring 2 goals, and Jason Ralph confronts Darren Hatcher about his teammates protecting the NHL.
You got a babysitter out there, Hatcher? You got Price babysitting? So you got Price as your babysitter? What? Price is your babysitter out there?
The third period starts with some aggression when Motor City's Matt Hunter and Rockford's Olivier Prue get their sticks tangled. Then Hunter taps the back of Prue's helmet.
Fuck you, Hunter! You little fucking cunt.
It's enough to wake up the IceHogs, who complete their comeback attempt with their third unanswered goal.
Looking for somebody in front, Maltz on top, the one-timer, and it was knocked in, goal!
That's a fucking start!
It's a whole different game now, and Jason Ralph senses the Mechanics might be getting a little nervous, so he does his best to get under their skin.
All miss game the whole year. What's that? You got 4 hits all year, all miss game, that's good. Keep running, guys, fucking Hunter. I'll screw you right in the fucking face. They only call that in the NHL, not the United League. What? They only call that in the NHL, not the United League. Why don't you go back there, fuck? Get him some water skis! Do something about it. All right. That's a 2. He didn't even mean to do it. Oh, he apologized right after. He didn't even mean to do it. Get in. Oh, cunt.
The last 2 meetings between Rockford and Motor City ended with a tie game in regulation, and tonight's game does as well. For many of these fans who follow their Red Wings, they've probably never seen a shootout decide a tie game. With Corey Campbell in net for the Mechanics and Michelle Robinson between the pipes for the IceHogs, the shootout begins.
And we're ready. Here's Dufour. Jump starts it over the line from the near side. In on Campbell. Dufour. Shot. Campbell with the save. Off the Central Hockey League. Here's Burton. Robinson out the challenge. Burton right up the middle. Shot goal. The way slowly over the line. High slot. Kim to the backhand. No, he made a nice move, but he missed the shot. Now Chelios will shoot. Here comes Chelios. In on Robinson. Robinson out the challenge. Chelios, high side shot. Robinson made the save.
Go back to fucking Costa Rica, you bum!
Nice save, Robinson, and that's something to tell the grandkids about. Gobert from the far side. In on Campbell. Gobert shot, and Campbell made the save. They can win it here. Baker, high slot shot. Robinson saved it. Ruud looking for some redemption. Ruud in on Campbell. Ruud shot goal. We're tied. Here's Darren Hatcher out to win it. Robinson to keep Rockford in the game. Hatcher. Deke, nice poke check by Robinson. Hatcher didn't have a chance. Ron Aldoff, he has 1 shootout game-winning goal this year. Aldoff shot. Campbell with the save. Mechanics can win it again. Kyle Koss to shoot. Robinson out the challenge. Koss from the high slot. Looking for a shot. Robinson with a nice glove save. And he deflected it over the top of the net. LaFleche to give the Hogs their first lead in the shootout in the game. LaFleche, Deke, shot, and a save. Big number 44, Price. The righty from the far side, in on Robinson. Robinson with the poke check, Price wide open. And there's a goal, that's the game. Robinson missed on the poke check. Robinson's arguing his stick was kicked off. The IceHogs are arguing. They're arguing with the referee that Robinson's stick got kicked away by Price. It doesn't look like they're going to win this argument. And the Hogs fall 4-3 in a shootout.
Oh boy, Robbie, you stopped 20 of them. Fuck.
3 games against Motor City and 3 shootout losses for Rockford. The addition of Darren Hatcher and Chris Chelios did not make as big an impact as most would have thought.
You know, after the game in Motor City, we always have a poor first period up there. And I don't know what it is, like we talked about. Like, we can't say it was the crowd because they had a sold-out crowd. I think that some of their players played above their skill level. They played above what they usually play at just because they had those guys in the lineup. They had a capacity crowd. So I think some of their players elevated their games, and I think that helped them. I think they sort of took it to us in the first period, and that hurt us. I mean, they got up a lead on us, and we really had to battle back in the game. But I think once we settled in, and we said, okay, well, they got a crowd, they got Chelios and Hatcher, no big deal. We're still a better team. If you took our 20-team roster and theirs, we're a better team. Let's get to work. And I think we settled in and we battled, and I was happy with my game, and I was happy with the effort that we put forth to take a point from them. But we still should have beat them.
No, one thing I said to myself is, no, they're not going to score. There's no way, no, I'm going to let them score. And that was kind of funny because the first shot that Chelios took, just went in. And like, it wasn't a great shot either. But just the fact that he scored on his first shot, like, just the feeling inside me was like, oh my God.
In the end, it was just one game out of 40 road games, and the IceHogs did not waste any time getting back on the road. This time heading to Muskegon for a Saturday night showdown with the two top teams in the league. The first thing the boys want is something to eat, and bus food is waiting for them when they board the bus.
Bus food is usually food that you order before a game and when you're on the road. And usually the restaurant that makes the food will make it about an hour and a half before you get on the bus. And when you get on the bus, the food is cold and soggy and not very good.
You know, obviously the team wants you to eat good, and the trainers want you to eat good because you need good fuel for your body. But Steak and Shake's not exactly great fuel for your body, and sometimes it's not really the team's fault. A couple of the road teams have agreements with restaurants, and you get a very limited menu where it's like burgers or turkey melts or something that are just, you know, they're not the greatest things in the world, but I think it just goes along with being on the road, you know.
Each player pays for their dinner out of their per diem, and as unappetizing as this food might sound, it's the first meal they've had in 10 hours, so any food is good food right now. The team bus has left Fraser and is well on its way to Muskegon, about a 3-hour trip, just enough time to play some cribbage, get some sleep, or watch a movie. Each person has their own way of passing the time on the road.
I like to listen to my iPod. I like to listen to some tunes, watching a few movies. I love chirping Ralphie and Waddy in the back of the bus, especially Waddy.
You know what, too? The guys will just talk, bust each other's balls, maybe that's what we call it, where take turns making fun of each other for a while and just ribbing each other. And
well, just recently, because we have all management up in the front, I've actually played a little bit of cards. We play some hearts. It's not a lot of fun because we don't play for money, and you know, you've got guys like, you know, Chris playing, the trainer, and or Chris, the equipment manager, Plumoff. He's a terrible card player, and you know, it's not a lot of fun beating him because it isn't much of a challenge, but it helps pass the time.
Well, long trips, you know, just pretty much talk and hang out, bullshit with everyone, you know, and just, I don't know, just talk about sports a lot. Mike, Peck and I talk sports all the time.
I just recently got a DVD player from my fiance, so that was probably one of the best gifts you could possibly get.
You know, sleeping probably takes up 75% of the time for the majority of players because we're just so exhausted from having to play that night. And
The Rockford team bus arrives in Muskegon at 2:15 in the morning, and the first stop is the L.C. Walker Arena, the home rink of the Muskegon Fury and the next road game on the IceHogs schedule. Each player grabs his equipment bag and brings it into the arena. One of the reasons why the IceHogs unload their equipment at 2 in the morning is to keep the gear in a more secure location than the undersides of a motor coach. The other reason is more practical. Their pads, skates, and gloves are soaking wet from the Motor City game, and it needs to be sent out to air dry before they play again. Chris Plumhoff sets up fans to help things dry quickly. Then the team checks into the hotel and calls it a night. While there is nothing funny about this loss to Motor City, some funny things can happen on the road.
One time I was with Huntington in the East Coast League. We're coming back from, I want to say Columbus, Ohio. We had left there at night, or Wheeling or somewhere. We had a game, it was a Saturday night, we had a game in against Peoria at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. So we're driving back, the bus driver neglects to put gas in the tank when we run out of gas. And this is like 6 in the morning, and we have a game at 1. So we ended up having to rent minivans to drive back to Huntington. And the trainer and I end up driving in a tow truck with a 500-pound man that smelled like shit. And I had to drive, and I sat next, well, actually I made the trainer, he was a rookie. He sat next to the fat guy. I sat on the end.
Stories that I can brief detail going, we've brought a bus to the bar a couple of times, and from then, had a good night, and some funny things have happened from that.
I remember a couple of guys were talking to some transvestites one year, and I think I was in New Haven, and they didn't know they were actually guys. And
there was a year where I was playing in Nashville the first year there, and the bus broke down every single trip.
We were in California. The air conditioning was broken on the bus, so we had the top windows open, and this guy was an older guy, really funny. He stripped down buck naked, walked to the front of the bus, and sat right beside the bus driver, and was asking him if he could turn the air conditioning on. The bus driver almost put the bus into a median when he saw him walk up to the bus naked.
One bus driver pulled up to a toll booth and just ripped the side doors off. And I remember the guy in the toll screaming, "Stop, stop!" And you just hear the guy keep driving, just grinding it out.
The IceHogs have never really been very good on the road, with the exception of this year. And we were on the road, and I can't even remember where we were at, probably Fort Wayne. Scott Bell was the head coach at the time, and we were just on a terrible losing streak on the road, and the bus was just dead silent. And we were probably about an hour into the road trip to whatever next town we were going to, and someone at the back of the bus piped up, "Hey, how about we get a movie?" And Scott Bell blew a gasket. He got up. He's like, "You want a movie? Fine. How about I put in the damn game tape?" And just went off on him and got up. I don't know if he was looking for the game tape or what he was doing, but he was rummaging through the movies, and he's like, "I got a great movie for you." And without hesitation, popped in a movie and sat down, and Dumb and Dumber popped up.
Actually, this year there was a time where both the wheels fell off in the back left. So you're sitting in the line on the bus, and all of a sudden you feel it go down, and you just hear the metal grinding alongside the road. And I heard someone looked out the window and see sparks flying. And me, Rod, and Nathan went back to pick up parts of the hub and get one of the tires out of the road, because two other cars behind us had hit something and gotten flat tires. Because it's 4 in the morning, you're not going to see anything in the road.
After a day of rest and relaxation, the IceHogs are ready to take on the Muskegon Fury in a game featuring the top 2 teams in the league at that time. The mood is light as the boys board the bus for the 10-minute ride to the rink. Steve Martinson likes to have his team at the rink 2 hours before the puck drops, even if he has to drive them there himself. A late arriving bus driver does not mix well with a punctual head coach, but it only sets the team back just a few minutes. Inside the LC Walker Arena, Rockford settles into their locker room. When goalie Michelle Robinson finds his gear next to Eric LaBelle's and Steve Peltier's, he creates a makeshift sign out of tape that reads, "The French Connection." This is the time when players order their bus food for the trip back to Rockford, and others go through the updated league statistics. For Coach Martinson, this is pretty much all he does to prepare for tonight's game.
We'll do certain things for certain penalty kills, certain different types of breakouts, different breakouts if we're going against the team that traps. But the team is conditioned so they know if we're doing, we're trap breakout. And you might talk about, like when you play Muskegon, they like to try to get the puck to Robin Bouchard in the slot. You talk about some positional play where you have to be and remind guys. But it's funny that even one-on-one stuff, you'll see somebody make a mistake, and you can't cover everything all the time. I mean, players would never listen to you. You just kind of sometimes if something sneaks up, you got to address it. But I believe in, playing a simple game and keeping it simple.
While Coach Martinson might be oversimplifying things a bit, there is no question about his coaching record. Simply put, Martinson is a winner. When he was hired to dig the IceHogs out of the bottom of the UHL, Rockford had 4 losing seasons and 1 season when they finished 1 game above 500. Steve Martinson, by comparison, had been a head coach for the San Diego Gulls in the East Coast and West Coast Hockey Leagues, a team he won 5 championships with in 8 years. In fact, he has never had a team finish the season with more than 22 losses. Steve Martinson hates losing. He is passionate about winning, and when things don't go his way, he lets everyone know about it, as the Muskegon Fury would soon find out. The players return to the locker room after the pregame skate and wait for Coach Martinson to address the team.
They're short a couple of their regulars. The good thing about playing tonight is we get to get last night out of our minds for the Super Bowl with a good win tonight, eh? Good fucking win. Got to put our pressures on ourselves to, to get our lines going, eh? Got to have everybody contributing again. That's our secret to success. Everybody's fucking going. We've got to make sure we got smart penalties too. We take a penalty, don't take a fucking bad penalty tonight. And let's make sure we're all over Bouchard. We're hitting them a lot.
The locker room has a very different mood tonight than what it did last night in Motor City. You could hear a pin drop in the dark, cramped locker room, and the boys seem especially focused for this game. Perhaps because they know what to expect from the Fury tonight.
Because they're dirty, especially at home. They're a totally different team at home and on the road. I don't think they threw one body check in our rink, and then we went up to their rink, and they're all 6'2", 400 pounds, and they're playing like heroes, So.
A crowd of 3,200 has made their way to their seats, and the puck drops. Both teams badly want this win, and it doesn't take long before Muskegon sets the tone for the first period.
The fuck is that? Who was that, 44? Hey, Jack, that's a major penalty. You missed a really bad cross check to the face. Is that his blood? Always from behind. Maltz, don't start a fight, but I want to put a little scare into this guy. You go fucking center. That's what I fucking thought. Miguel, you wanna be, don't be so low. Don't be so low. Don't let them just go back and forth so easy to the point. Move for each other, boys. Move. Gotta have your sticks on the ice, guys. Killing penalties, get your sticks in the passing lanes. Ruud, you've got the box.
Tempers reached the boiling point when Muskegon's David Ambler and Rockford's Eric LaBelle dropped the gloves, and Coach Martinson wants the linesmen to stay out of their way.
Stay out of there! Stay out! Stay out!
Adding to his frustration was this apparent goal scored by Brent Sullivan, which left Coach Martinson speechless.
There is no goal. The puck was kicked in.
But when Rockford's Olivier Prue was taken down with no penalty called,
Fucking it! What the fuck is that? Yeah, the next one.
and Alex Kim drawing a tripping minor on this play, Martinson had seen enough.
Hey, where's dude? JF, what about the one he called? He didn't call. What was the difference? On Prue's, what was the fucking difference? Let's go. Give me Prue and Dufour. Guy fucking pulls down Prue right before that. They blast you in the paper, and this is what you do.
And referee Jack McCoy had heard enough.
Yeah. I gotta call penalties because that's what happened tonight, so I'm going to use my judgment
to do it.
It's
going
to work on 5-on-3 if you're going to keep yelling at me.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah. What a fucking job.
The period ends with neither team getting on the scoreboard. As the teams leave the ice, Martinson has words for Muskegon's Robin Bouchard.
Fucking peacock.
And Bouchard has words for the IceHogs. It was a frustrating first period for Rockford, and in the locker room, Coach Martinson's words cut right to the bone.
Fucking tighten up our sticks and go to fucking war with these fucking guys. You can use your fucking strength, and I mean it to the fucking man. I'll be watching everybody tonight. Finish your fucking checks. I'm not telling anybody to fucking cross-check guys, but finish your fucking checks and play fucking tough. That is not a fucking tough team.
The puck drops to start the second frame. Rockford comes out swinging, while Muskegon comes out scoring.
Cross it, high slide, big flash, save, rebound, there's a backhander goal by Nelson. Now we have a penalty coming up on Rockford. There's a rebound, loose in front, black, another shot goal.
Rockford is now down 2-0 halfway through the game, and a frustrated Martinson has some words for Muskegon's coach Todd Nelson.
Quite a different team you got at fucking home. I'd be embarrassed if I was you. Fucking shove it up their fucking ass.
When another obvious penalty is not called by referee Jack McCoy.
What is that? You saw that. That's a major fucking penalty.
Last night, Muskegon hosted Fort Wayne in a game that saw referee Jack McCoy give the Fury only 2 power plays. McCoy was severely criticized in the Muskegon newspaper, and before this game is over, McCoy will give Muskegon 11 power play opportunities, which will be a new team record, and that's not sitting well with Martinson.
Sometimes you might be able to get a call because you convince them to see it your way. They're human, they make mistakes, and I know that they can be both make up calls and stick it to you when they want to, and you know, it's just like like anybody in any business, just because they're in a position of authority doesn't mean that they're gonna always be fair, and they're not gonna let grudges and mistakes and things influence them and, pass. So you try to get them to, to be honest.
With the calls not going Rockford's way, the team turns their attention to putting some points on the board, and before the second period ends, Chris Gilbert cuts into the Muskegon lead.
Ruin to the point, Maltz with it. Hellfire went in front, that tipped it up for a rebound, let's go! Gilbert hammered it home. Now Lawmaster will give Gilbert a little shove, but the Hogs cut the lead in half to 2-1 with a goal by Chris Gilbert.
Unfortunately for the IceHogs, it would be the closest they would get to the Fury tonight.
Mark behind the Rockford cage to the backhand, loose puck down there again. Bouchard, another shot, there's a goal. Bouchard will get it, and it's 3-1. Here's Muskegon 2-on-1. Bouchard and Lawmaster. Bouchard shot saved by Robinson. Now it's batted in, that's a goal. Batted out of midair, and it's 4-1.
With his team down 4-1 late in the game, there wasn't much else Martinson could say. The numbers spoke for themselves. Rockford collected 80 penalty minutes and gave the Fury, the best team in the league when it comes to the man advantage, 11 power play opportunities.
It was one of the worst games that I'd ever played in 10 years, and it just Bush League. And I wasn't going to tell my guys to now play Bush League. I'm not going to have our guys. I mean, I take pride in having an honest, straight-up team. Typically physical teams, but this year I think we have our physical guys, but we also have a lot of team speed. I think we're now well known for speed, but we've got 3 of the toughest guys in the league that if you want to, try to match up with us, we can drop the gloves with the best of them. But I got a kick out of, teams that play a little rougher at home than they do on the road.
Do not try to adjust your television screen. The ice is supposed to be pink. Welcome to Wing Stadium in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's Monday, February 14th, and the Rockford IceHogs are playing the Kalamazoo Wings in their 5th annual Pink Ice game. Tonight's game is the start of a 4-game road trip for Rockford, who are 15, 7, and 3 leading up to this game away from the MetroCentre. The IceHogs line up in the tunnel while Slappy, the Wings mascot, takes to the ice. Tonight's game will feature a wedding and a reunion, all on top of a pink sheet of ice.
Well, I don't think there's going to be a lot of love shared out there, you know. It's a hockey game, and, you know, you do those things to promote the game and get people to buy tickets. I mean, should it have any effect on us? No. I mean, we're going to play on pink ice. They're going to play on pink ice. Everybody knows why it's pink, and, you know, just drop the puck and get the game going.
It's funniest when you first step into the rink, you look around and you're thinking, boy, this is the rink I'm going to be playing on tonight. You know, they're not putting on a figure skating show or anything like that. I'm going to be playing hockey on pink ice. You know, but it's Valentine's Day. You know there's going to be something. I've heard there's been green ice before for St. Patrick's Day. So you just, you know, it's part of the show, and you kind of try to look beyond that. And it doesn't, you know, disturb your vision as far as seeing the puck and, you know, things like that too much. So it's not something you try to pay attention to. There's too much going on in the game to try to worry about the color of the ice.
You know, pink ice, I don't think, depending on what color, if it's dark red, it might affect the game. That, you know, it might be hard to see the puck, but I think it's going to be probably a light pink, and I don't think it's going to affect people's vision or anything. I guess they get great crowds for these games. I guess it'll be fun. I think we just got to go out and play hard, but hopefully the pink ice won't affect our game at all.
The anthem hasn't even been sung, and already Jason Ralph is chirping.
Let's stay off this ref, boys. You know he's a fucking retard, so let's stay off him.
Great hats, ladies. There you go. That's the G spot right there. The G spot.
Oh. Here we go, White. Come on now. Big game here. I got Harry. Come on, big white machine. Huh? Right off the bat, huh? We go over the lead here. Fisher's got to be the captain of the all-ugly team. That guy is fucking ugly. Looks like the guy from Braveheart there, the guy that's all cut up. Oh.
The 5th annual Pink Ice game is underway with 3,262 fans in attendance. There's a reunion on the ice tonight between two bitter rivals.
All night, buddy, you and me?
Tyler Willis from Kalamazoo and Jason Ralph of Rockford.
I think he's a player you'd love to have on your team. You'd love to have him on your team, and you hate to play against him. He's one of those guys. I played against him he was in Long Beach when I was in Bakersfield, and we had our battles then. And you know, we're pretty chippy with each other. We slash each other and get under each other's skin. But that's just you know, good competitive nature. As long as no one takes it too far, you know, with hurting someone badly with their stick, it's fine. But typically, I think he's I'd say rat, but I don't think, you know. It's kind of a bad way of putting it. He's a hard player to play against, and he's the type of guy you'd like to have on your team. I'm mesmerized by your ugliness. I'm trying to get through. I'm like, ah! We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight, Willie. Let's go. Watch that lumber, eh? Oh, fuck, you gave it right to me first. Oh, yeah. Oh, you got me right here. Oh, that wasn't from behind. Fucking loser. Willie! Willie! Fucking barely touched you. Stay on your feet, fuck. Good kill, boys. That's a bad penalty on my part. Fucking Willis. I'm gonna run that cunt. Ah, cocksucker. What's that? Yeah. He just struck me right in the face. You saw him stick me in the face, Derek. It's not even worth arguing with you anyways.
The Wings, wearing their red road jerseys on behalf of Valentine's Day, are the first to light the lamp.
Left it on the near boards for Lutz. Lost the handle on it, Carpentier. Over the Rockford line. His centering pass is broken up, got it back. Another centering pass in front, and the goal.
The period ends with Rockford down by a goal, and if they have any chance of winning this game and breaking out of their 3-game losing streak, they need to protect the puck better than they did in the first period. During the first intermission, Wings Stadium was turned into the largest chapel in Kalamazoo. A feature of the annual Pink Ice game is a wedding that takes place on the ice. The groom, Andy Young, approaches the altar, while Slappy proudly escorts this beautiful bride, Amy Gurning. The ring bearer was a local volunteer from the animal shelter, and with over 3,000 people as witnesses, Andy and Amy were pronounced husband and wife. The second period starts with Rockford vowing not to let Kalamazoo score again, while Jason Ralph and Tyler Willis show no signs of working out their differences.
Good hit, buddy. Fucking Willis is gonna get it. Cocksucker got me twice. Nice flashes, you fucking bitch. Funny you don't want much to do with Watson, eh? That's funny. That's funny. Just want to show your good looks off to the fans, Willie, you ugly cunt. Where's Willie? Where's Willie? Come on, get the fuck out of here.
While Ralph and Willis were chirping each other, Chad Albin of Kalamazoo and Michelle Robinson of Rockford were putting together a highlight reel of saves. On the ice, a proverbial war of words is taking place between Ralph and Willis and other players in this game. Sometimes hurtful things are said in the heat of battle that would never be said to a player off the ice, like the comments a Kalamazoo player made about Rockford forward Alex Kim, a Korean American.
Well, no, this is kind of important. He goes, Kim, I'll knock those slanty little fucking japper eyes off your face. 10 feet from the referee goes, Kim, I'll knock that slanty-eyed fucking... Said a bunch of stuff, right, about like a bunch of racial slurs. And I told the ref, he's like last game, I can't hear any of that stuff.
I don't know if it's really a big deal, but I know that it's prevalent. You have to realize that players do come from different backgrounds, and you know, for that particular player, I'm not really too sure what his upbringing was, but I can guarantee that his parents weren't instilling good values in terms of treating, you know, the other people with respect. He's not the only player to make a comment. Another player from Flint actually made a comment this year, so that's 2 in 1 year in a span of 35 games. So you hear that, it's a little bit discouraging, but I think if you can overcome it through, overcome through adversity when you zone it out and you mentally block it out. I think from the time I was 16 all the way up, and I've consistently heard it in every league. So.
Watch here, pal! Back door, pal!
Robinson makes another great save to keep the game close going into the second intermission. This is still anybody's game. Jason Ralph gets his teammates fired up with a little pep talk on the bench.
Shove it up their ass, eh, Kimmer? Shove it up their ass, buddy. Here we go, White. Come on, Ruin, eh? Get mad, buddy. Come on now.
With their team leading by a goal, Kalamazoo fans are in a good mood.
Rockford is at full strength.
Meanwhile, Jason Ralph is up to his old tricks.
Fucking gutless. That was more acting, but it was right in front of the ref.
And becomes a target for some Kalamazoo fans who heckle Ralph after he makes contact with Chad Albin. Both goaltenders were standing on their heads all game long until the 9:02 mark of the third period, when the Wings were able to crack the Rockford goalie again. With the way Chad Albin was playing in net for Kalamazoo, Rockford knew a 2-goal lead would be almost insurmountable.
Fuck!
Willie!
And the frustration of the game begins to set in for Jason Ralph.
You might fuck yours. She's too fucking ugly though. I guarantee you that, if she looks like you. Fuck!
And when the IceHogs defensive breakdown gives the Wings an easy scoring chance, Michelle Robinson doesn't hide his frustration either. But Rockford is a team that battles until the final horn. The shot from J.F. Dufour goes in just as the final horn sounds. Chad Albin, wanting a coveted shutout, pleads his case to the referee. But in the end, it's still a 2-1 loss for Rockford. The IceHogs will board a bus and head for Missouri tonight, while Kalamazoo moves a step closer to the top spot in their division and improves to 2 wins and 3 losses in pink ice games. It's week number 23 in the Rockford IceHogs schedule, and the team is on the bus heading for St. Charles, Missouri for an important game against the Missouri River Otters. Rockford is close to clinching a playoff spot, and Missouri is close behind in the division standings. The team that is taking the ice for pregame warm-ups has some new faces, including Reed Simpson, who is suiting up for his first road game since joining the IceHogs. Simpson is a 15-year pro with more than 300 NHL games under his belt, including the 1994 season when he won the Stanley Cup with the New Jersey Devils. Starting in goal tonight for Rockford is Seamus Kodak, who has been assigned to the IceHogs from the Milwaukee Admirals of the American Hockey League. A teammate of Kodak's in Milwaukee is Brandon Siegel, who has been sent to Rockford as well. While the team waits for Coach Martinson to say a few words about the game, this is the time when the guys check their sticks to make sure it's how they want it for the game, drink fluids, and mentally prepare for the game. Some players like to talk out loud and verbalize their thoughts, while others are more introspective and use this time to visualize the game and how they see themselves performing during it.
Everybody in here? Let's be safe in the first period. Get the bus legs out. Be smart. Get it in deep. Hold up one sec. The Simpson and Prue and Siegel start with Aldolf and Pelletier. That line that you guys are playing against, we got to use that line. Detello, Heckendorn, and Cantrell. That's not a very good line. Let's make sure that, when we're out, who's ever out against those guys, we got to take advantage of them. You talked about the trap thing in case they shoot that guy down. Just if sometimes they'll shoot the guy down at the centerman. And right now we've got right shots and left shots. So when your line, where's Kim? Kim can swing in his forehand. So with that line, if Kim, you're swinging on your forehand, then JC, you're pulling out. If a guy comes back at the centerman, we'll talk about it right away. We'll know if they're doing it. Left wing, don't go all the way out to the far blue line. Hold it at the red line. So if he's got to bank it by. And the other thing is the far winger. If you see that guy stepping in on the centerman, start to move towards the middle of the ice to support the play a little bit. If that centerman gets picked up, defense, just hold the puck and come out the same side and follow him. If somebody comes to you, try to hit your partner first. Otherwise, look for the winger. All right? Everybody ready to go? Let's have a good start.
Inside the arena, River Otters fans are finding their seats, as are 2 IceHogs fans who have made the 5-hour trip to St. Charles. Missouri plays in the Family Arena, a very modern facility that seats 10,000 hockey fans. Back in the IceHogs locker room, the team is dressed and getting ready to enter the ice. Coach Martinson is alone in his office going over last-minute details. Starting goalie Seamus Cuddick leads his team out of the locker room, and the game gets underway.
Boots, Maltz, Sergey, you guys are up.
Starting netminder Jason Tapp and the rest of the River Otters are wearing a special jersey for tonight's game. With tomorrow being St. Patrick's Day, Missouri is wearing Shamrock-themed jerseys that will be auctioned off to the highest bidder right after the game, with the proceeds going to charity. Rockford isn't the only team sporting new faces on the ice. In the time since Motor City signed Darren Hatcher and Chris Chelios in early February, the Flint Generals and Danbury Trashers also signed NHLers to their squad. But nobody made as big a splash with their roster additions of current NHL players than the Missouri River Otters, who signed Ryan Johnson, Bryce Salvador, Jamal Mayers, and 2002 NHL Rookie of the Year Barrett Jackman, all from the St. Louis Blues. Unfortunately for the owners of the River Otters, having those 4 players in the lineup isn't putting fans in the seats like it did in Motor City. Despite no NHL season and the Family Arena an easy half-hour's drive from downtown St. Louis, the River Otters only drew a Wednesday night crowd of 2,800 fans for a game that had playoff implications. But for the fans that were in attendance, they were treated to a great hockey game. Missouri was the first on the board when Jamal Mayers scored his first goal as a River Otter at 6:43 of the second period on a power play. Rockford came back to tie the game when J.C. Ruid flipped a backhander past Jason Tapp at 14:49 of the second period. There were great hits. Great goaltending. Great defense. And a little bit of drama. In the third period of a tie game, Glenn DeTulio of Missouri gets his stick held by Rockford's Olivier Prue, who then gets speared by DeTulio. The altercation sends Prue to the IceHogs bench and DeTulio to the River Otters penalty box with a spearing major. It didn't take long for the IceHogs to score on the power play as Brandon Siegel scores his first goal in an IceHogs uniform to put Rockford up 2-1. Just when it looked like the IceHogs had this game all but wrapped up, Rockford's J.C. Ruid gets called for a slashing minor on this play. Missouri's head coach Kevin Kaminsky pulls goaltender Jason Tapp, and Missouri attacks the Rockford net on a 6-on-4 power play. Missouri fails to get pressure on Seamus Cuddick, and Rockford barely escapes with a 2-1 victory. Rockford's defense was the difference in this game as they held Missouri to just 18 shots on goal, including 9 shots in the second and third periods combined. It was a quality win for Seamus Cuddick, who was returned to the Milwaukee Admirals the next day. It's the last weekend bus trip of the season, and with only 8 games left, the IceHogs are in the playoffs. The only thing to play for now is the Western Division title and the home ice advantage in the playoffs that comes with it. The team standing in Rockford's way is who they play tonight, the Fort Wayne Komets.
Fort Wayne Komets, great first line that can really hurt you, and watch the transition game. Always back check as hard as you can.
Fort Wayne is a good place to play in. It's like nice building, nice old town. It's pretty intense every time we play against them. No, they're kind of like us a little bit. No, they're quick. They got skills. No, they don't play really rough, and it's a lot of skilled players just going out there and just playing their best.
I respect Fort Wayne in that the way they play at home is the same as they play on the road.
The team bus left Rockford at 1 p.m., so the boys are having to take their pregame nap any way they can. Reed Simpson picks out a movie for those who, like him, can't sleep well on the bus. In the back of the bus, those who could sleep are laying on foam pads and blankets, which are stretched across the aisle under the seats. This is one of the few trips where the entire team will eat their pregame meal together. IceHogs broadcaster Mike Peck is helping to organize the meal.
Hey, what do you guys want to eat? Olive Garden or what?
But the Olive Garden has an hour-long wait when the team arrives, so they choose another restaurant nearby. 20 hungry grown men invade the Fazoli's in Fort Wayne to load up on carbohydrates and proteins with large quantities of pasta, chicken, and breadsticks.
Best looking table.
Except for Jason Ralph, who's having seafood for dinner. The team arrives at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum, the home rink for the Fort Wayne Comets for 53 years. The IceHogs are full of confidence heading into tonight's game. They're enjoying a 6-game unbeaten streak heading into the game and are peaking at the right time of the season. Rockford and Fort Wayne are two evenly matched teams, and their head-to-head record proves it. Coming into tonight's game, the IceHogs have won 3 games and lost 3 games against the Comets. The trainer's room is a busy place where players get ice, stretch out, and work out their bus legs. Coach Martinson and forward Olivier Prue are going over game tape while Chris Plumhoff repairs torn socks on the sewing machine. Out on the ice, Brent Sullivan is testing a new hockey stick. Then he and Bruce Watson mess around on the ice surface. The Allen County War Memorial Coliseum has the largest seating capacity in the UHL at 10,500 hockey fans. There are some great seats in this arena, and then there's the seat where Mike Peck broadcasts the games from.
I didn't pack my binoculars straight.
This is the view for Mike. Notice how small Bruce Watson and Brent Sullivan look on the ice. But Mike's in no position to complain. Comets legendary broadcaster Bob Chase, who's been calling Comet hockey for 52 years, sits even farther away from the ice. Starting in net tonight for Rockford is Michelle Robinson, while the Comets feature Tyler Masters, who started the season as the number 2 goalie, but was promoted when starter Kevin St. Pierre was put on injured reserve. Fort Wayne joined the United Hockey League in 1999 and since then has led the league in attendance. The Comets average 7,400 fans at each game, which is more than double what the IceHogs draw. A crowd of 7,377 is on hand tonight to watch a game that will put the winner in the driver's seat for the division title and home ice advantage in the playoffs. The game had a playoff feel to it, with a lot of end-to-end action, but no scoring. The first period ended 0-0, with Tyler Masters turning away 12 Rockford shots. Michelle Robinson, thanks to some great defense by the IceHogs and some sloppy play by the Comets, saw only 3 shots on goal. The second period saw more action in the Rockford zone as IceHogs goalie Michelle Robinson faced 9 shots to Tyler Masters' 8. Fort Wayne had the best scoring chance of the game on this play, but it was Rockford who would cross the red line first at 9:50 in the period.
Prue trying to chase it down in the corner. Now it's picked up by Gobert. Looking in front for Siegel. Nice top shelf goal. What a setup that was. Oh, what a feed from Gobert. Cross pass, and Siegel buried it past Masters.
Rockford held on to that slim lead until late in the period, when the Comets blew one by Robinson.
Ran into Vitzi-Garatsev. Behind the play, Vitzi-Garatsev got tripped down there, no call, centering pass, deflected to the point, another big blast, and there's a goal. Blasted from on top by Stewart, and we're tied.
The game didn't stay tied for long once the third period got underway, as Rockford capitalized on a power play opportunity.
Back to Siegel on the wing, has Kim on top, sets Dufour up, has an open shot, Dufour, big blast, top shelf goal, power play marker, Rockford leads.
The turning point in the game came with 1:47 left in regulation, when Rockford's J.F. Dufour was whistled for hooking. Fort Wayne pulled Tyler Masters for the extra skater, and for the second straight game, Rockford could not hold on to a late third period lead.
Benedam, Van on the shot, got it on the wing. To the point we go. Goodwin, down low for Chalk. To the point. That one fired in front. That one's deflected in a power play goal. I think Nevin is going to get it. That was through traffic. We're tied. Oh, that's terrible.
The game went into the overtime shootout, and Rockford got a shootout goal from Vince Maltz. While Fort Wayne's Colin Chalk got one past Michelle Robinson. Then, in the 6th round of the shootout, Fort Wayne put the exclamation point on this critical game for both teams.
Benedam from the near side. Robinson way out. Benedam, Deeks, shot, goal. Being a 5-hole, that's the game.
The Comets came from behind in dramatic fashion to beat Rockford 3-2 in a shootout. Rockford picked up a standings point, but they lost any chance of winning the division and home ice advantage in the playoffs. The bitter taste of last night's defeat still lingers for the IceHogs, and for some fans too. Mike Peck talks about the disappointing loss with 2 Rockford fans who drove in for the game last night. It's a quiet Saturday for the team, who stayed in Fort Wayne so they could get a good night's sleep, and because their next opponent, the Kalamazoo Wings, are only 2 hours away. The Missouri River Riders are in town to play the Comets tonight and staying in the same hotel as the IceHogs.
It's going to be too good to be true.
Mike Peck stops by to visit Missouri broadcaster Dan Silver, who has left his door open while out to lunch. Mike invites himself in and does a little interior decorating.
Rule number 1 when you're on the road, if you leave your room, make sure that your door is locked.
Later, Mike returns to the scene of the crime to check up on Dan.
Mr. Silver.
What's up?
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Yeah, well, we stopped by earlier, but you weren't here.
Lunch.
Yeah.
Some of the guys put a little trick. They
it's too bad.
Put my table up on my bed, my chair's up on my bed.
Oh, that's too bad.
But I think it was RJ and Jax. Because they were late coming on the bus, so.
Yeah, I think you got to bust their chops.
Yeah, I'm going to.
I wouldn't take that stuff from them.
No, I'm not. I don't care where they played, you know?
Yeah, these guys, they play in the NHL for a few years.
They
and
just think they can do whatever they want, you know?
Tell you. I wouldn't do something like that.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Back on the road, and the IceHogs are looking to keep their 7-game unbeaten streak alive against the talented Kalamazoo Wings team.
Playing at Kalamazoo is a tough trip just because, well, for one, the arena it's kind of a smaller, darker arena, and the fans are kind of right on top of you, especially when you walk out and, they're yelling stuff at you. And then you get on the ice and they got a hard-working, kind of not a tough team in the way that they're going to fight you, but they're a tough team where they're going to hit you, they're going to be in your face. They got a couple players. They got Tyler Willis, who's real scrappy and, can maybe get the odd cheap shot in. So I don't think they're not intimidating. There's no one on that team that you're intimidated by. But for sure, when you're going to Kalamazoo, you got to play hard for the full 60 minutes, and that it's going to be a tough game.
Only 8 games remain in the season, and Rockford is turning their attention to the playoffs. Tonight's game with the Kalamazoo Wings is significant because all indications point to these two teams meeting in the first round of the playoffs. Much like the Fort Wayne Comets, Rockford matches up well with the Wings and are 2-2 against them so far this season. The referee for tonight's game is John Searle. The UHL started in 1991, and two aspects of the league are still around 14 years later. Flint, Michigan is still in the league, and John Searle is still refereeing. Before the game, John and his linesmen, Dean Piach and Jeff Parrish, talk with Brad Jones, Vice President of Officiating for the UHL. They understand both teams will most likely meet in the playoffs, and both will try to make a statement tonight. However, John will soon find out that this will be one of the toughest games he will referee in his 14 years of wearing the stripes. Being a referee in professional hockey requires a great knowledge of the game, some teaching skills, a lot of patience, and a very thick skin, and John will rely heavily on all of those tonight.
That boy's black first. Hey! Nate, I didn't see it. I wasn't watching the puck, okay? I was watching the far side. Good job, Robbie. Boy. Let it go, boys. Go. Oh, oh. Well, actually, the guy that came off the bench didn't play the puck. Okay, he was at the back of the bench. The guy that took the puck, Ralphie, was on the ice.
Early in a scoreless game, Kalamazoo is on the power play, and John Searle finds himself caught in an awkward position along the far boards.
Where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? Anywhere. Hey, I cost us a fucking goal. Hang on, where am I gonna go? Stop and go back or jump up and cut to the fucking middle. You gotta get out of the fucking way. Kill the penalty for fuck's sake. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, you know what I'll do? I got no equipment on anyway. The last thing I want to do is be involved in the play, right? Let's go.
It was an unfortunate position to be caught in, but Rockford was able to tie the game just 30 seconds later. Despite Rockford tying the game up, Coach Martinson is still upset about the incident.
Hang on. Steve, I got to move with the play, okay? If I... But you know what, I can't remember a player not shooting the puck at a referee if he wants to really get it out. Okay, I don't want to get in the way. I really don't. Andy, he's complaining about down here when I got in the way on your goal. I got nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. Okay, black first. Wait. Let him go, Bruce. Let him go. Good boy.
Things get even more heated when Kalamazoo's Corey Carlander makes contact with Rockford's goalie Michelle Robinson.
Hey, Jeff, take him. Let's make some ice. All right, Robbie.
Second time they go to their goalie. I know that's when you push them a little bit, but you know they get ready to.
You know what? If anyone goes near the goalie, I'm going to protect the goalie all night long, for sure. Okay. Jeff, lace is broken here. Okay, the lace is broken.
Rockford is concerned about the Wings roughing up their goalie, especially since Rockford already lost their backup to a season-ending injury earlier in the season against Kalamazoo.
They run into fucking goalies all the time. So it's not a fucking accident. What is their fucking game plan?
Then some Wings players make sure Coach Martinson isn't getting the upper hand.
Yellow, like that?
What's that, Willie? Oh, fuck, everything.
The first period ends with Jason Ralph and Tyler Willis renewing an old rivalry, a big collision, and a tie game.
What's up, Blue Ice?
The second period starts with Searle calling a tripping minor on Rockford's Bruce Watson, which Rockford's Alex Kim converts into a short-handed goal. Searle is trying to let the teams play, and sometimes that means not calling offsetting penalties.
Go both ways. Pull, slash. Could have taken 2, Willie. Yeah.
He's giving us one or them one?
I was going both ways. Oh. Yeah, that's why I let it go, Timmer. Yeah, right? I had to.
I saw that.
Yeah. That glove hanging over. Was that glove hanging over?
That's all them. That was out there.
Okay, outside. 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 If it wasn't hanging over, then it would have gone out, right? Outside, right?
Kalamazoo ties up the game at 7:41 of the second period when defenseman Daniel Carriere puts the puck by Robinson. On the ensuing faceoff, Rockford's Steve Peltier gets a nasty high stick to the jaw, which only increases the tension between the two teams. Kalamazoo took the lead back with this goal by Sean Fisher at 12:52 in the period. Then John Searle calls a penalty on Kalamazoo, and when Robinson tries skating to the Rockford bench, Tyler Willis sends Robinson crashing to the ice.
You know, we already warned you, so.
See it, man.
You know, we've already warned you, so all I have to say.
33, 2 cross checks. 13 white, 2 goaltender interference. Hang on a second here.
Yeah, Gates right into it. Well, Willis too, probably. Hey, Willis has never done anything on this. Yeah, it's a deal.
You guys want to talk to you about me? Just no letter here. Okay.
I got 15 years. How can he be here?
Okay. He's done a letter. 2 cross checks, 2 goaltender interference. Okay?
We've already fucking warned you about it.
You can warn me all you want. I don't know anything that happened before. I'm calling tonight.
And it's an attempt to injure, but you're only going to call 2? Is that what I'm telling him?
You can tell him what I told you. That wasn't what I said. Okay? That wasn't what I said.
I told you they like to run goalies. They already hit him once and they hit him again. How many times?
Okay, so because you told me they like to run goalies, then I'm gonna automatically give them 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They already put one of our goalies out this year.
Okay.
Coach just wants an explanation. Can you run over there and tell him?
Okay.
Can you just give our coach an explanation?
Yeah, I will.
Real quick?
Yeah, I will.
What have you got him in the box for?
I got him in there for 2 minutes for goaltender interference.
It's fucking spearing. He speared the fucking goalie. That's a 5-minute hit. He speared him.
Relax here. No. You don't want to relax?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't want to talk to you. Okay, if you don't want to relax, I don't want to talk.
I'm relaxed.
Okay. He's on his way here because he saw my arm go up for the cross check down in the corner. 13 come across and took his feet out. Okay, that's interference. Okay, if he's in the blue ice and he does that, that's 5 minutes. Okay?
When you make contact with a spear, it's a 5-minute
No,
it's automatic.
No, it's not.
And none of you guys, everybody saw it in the whole
No, it's
league.
not. No,
everybody,
it's not.
I guarantee you on the tape.
Okay.
Yeah, you tell me it's not.
Relax. I told you, if you don't want to relax, I don't want to talk to you. Okay?
You make contact with a spear till I
No, it's not.
Robinson stays in net for the IceHogs. The cheap shots keep coming, and Rockford ties the game. Now that his team has tied the game, and with the playoffs just weeks away, Coach Martinson decides to put his backup, Grady Hunt, in the game and to protect his all-star goalie from further injury. Grady Hunt made a save on his first shot he saw, but he wasn't so lucky on the second shot. Kalamazoo takes the lead right back, and Coach Martinson decides that winning the game is worth the risk and puts Robinson back in net for the IceHogs. 3 minutes later, Kalamazoo's Tim Turner slides past Robinson into the crease. Then Robinson takes a cheap shot at Turner. Searle didn't make a call on the play, but it didn't matter, as Kalamazoo's Andrew Luciak scored what would eventually be the game winner. That's how the second period would end, and when the teams came back to the ice to start the third period, Kalamazoo's head coach Mark Reeves has some words for John Searle about Rockford's goalie Michelle Robinson.
Not much, Mark.
You know what? He gets hit by fucking 90, 100-mile-an-hour pucks and fucking doesn't go down like that. So, I mean, not that he doesn't.
The third period gets underway, and Rockford quickly makes the game interesting when Brandon Siegel scores to make it 5-4 Wings.
No, right at the puck level, right at the board. No, sir. No, sir. Brucey, who's the shot? Who's the shot? Thanks.
But Kalamazoo contends the goal shouldn't count because of a high sticking to Jim McNamara, which all three officials didn't see.
Help me here. I'm sorry.
Look at how high stick on the puck, too. Look at this. Did you see it?
No, I did not, Willie. I did not see it.
Ask him. Ask your partner.
Hang on a sec.
Look at it. Bleeding everywhere.
Well, we see that. We see it, Willie.
You see it?
You see that?
No. I can't tell from where I'm at. You're right on top of it.
Well, obviously I didn't see any high stick, but obviously you got him. No. Behind it, right at the Meyer sign there was contact with the stick from 9. But you know what? It was about that far above the dasher board, okay, where the stick made contact with and brought it down, right? We're not playing the waist, we're playing the crossbar, right?
Then, with about 12 minutes left to play, and Kalamazoo holding a slim 5-4 lead over Rockford, an already intense game takes a major turn for the worse. On this play, Rockford's Brent Sullivan gives Wings goaltender Joel Martin an obvious cross-check to the back while in the crease, putting Martin down on the ice. When Sullivan tries arguing the call to John Searle, linesman Jeff Parrish is the victim of Sullivan's frustration.
Who touched the puck? High stick.
Get rid of him. I think he got him in the head with the stick. Oh, I don't know. We'll have to look at that and wait till he gets up. Okay, 2 in a game. Okay.
Either of you see what happened? What happened? Swung around and hit him. He was trying to get away from him. He swung around and hit him. With his stick? I couldn't tell if it was a stick or the shoulder. You should fucking know. I can't see both sides of things. I'm out here. Obviously, didn't know. You gotta see it. I mean, if you saw him, you saw it. If you didn't see it, you can't fucking say you saw it. And he came rolling out to here. He had him here and let him know who it was. And he tried to spin away. He tried to spin away, right? Exactly. He tried to spin away. Why is he grabbing him? That's his job. It's not his job. I still got bells going on. Right, fucking wheel around the butt end, got me right in the fucking ear. I got bells going on. I don't even know if I can hear. It's like I can't. I'm fucking. Everything seems like it's quiet. I mean, I can hear, but.
Jeff Parrish was able to remain in the game, and Kalamazoo quickly took advantage of the power play from the Sullivan goaltender interference call to put the game out of reach for Rockford. This elbowing call to Rockford's Olivier Prue only added to Rockford's penalty minutes and frustration.
Get out of here. Get rid of him. Nine black, 2 on the elbow.
With the exception of the Alex Kim goal in the second period that put Rockford ahead 2-1, Kalamazoo had the upper hand all night long, and Kevin Kodaluk of the Wings was doing his part to rub it in.
Let's go! Let's go!
A near-capacity crowd of 4,595 saw what could be a preview of a great 7-game playoff series.
I'm going to tell you, this is the toughest game we worked all year. Really? Yeah.
as Kalamazoo beat Rockford 6-4. It's Wednesday afternoon, and a crowd of fans and IceHogs Booster Club members have gathered outside the Rockford MetroCentre. The IceHogs are at the end of their long 80-game season and soon will board the bus for a final trip to the Mark of the Quad Cities to play their rivals, the Quad City Mallards. Spirits are high, and for good reason. It's been a record-setting year for Rockford, and their fans are enjoying watching the winningest team in their 6-year history. In the locker room at the Mark, the players are in a good mood too. Eric LaBelle has been away for several weeks on a call-up to the Utah Grizzlies of the AHL and is back for tonight's game. While LaBelle is being interviewed by Mike Peck, Michelle Robinson tries to distract LaBelle, which has been a tradition amongst the French-Canadian players all season long.
Was it a little awkward getting out on the ice with those guys?
But there is one person who is not in a good mood, Chris Plumhoff. Not only does he have to perform his normal pregame duties as equipment manager, but he has to also train 2 people who will take his place on the bench tonight. Corey, his stick boy at home games, and Jim McMullen, the team bus driver.
I think it was a couple of weeks before we went to Quad Cities. Quad Cities was in Rockford, and one of the guys, I don't know if he did it intentionally or if it was an accident, but a puck got shot into the bench, and I can't remember if it hit Biff or it came real close to his head, but he just kind of flew off the handle and picked the puck back up and threw it back at the guy, on the ice. I think it hit the guy in the ankle. It really didn't do anything, but he got suspended for the Quad City games. And I think they had 2 games in Quad Cities after that.
The league suspended Chris Plumhoff for the 2 remaining games at Quad City. He was allowed in the building to perform his duties for the team, but he was not allowed on the ice and behind the bench for the game. So Chris is going over some basics with Jim, who has never done anything like this before.
The most important thing is looking for broken sticks, and I know you've never done it before, so just try to match it up to where, like if you see a right hand, do your best. Most of the guys will probably just throw a stick over. They'll be numbered in order, like from 5, 9, 10. Yeah, it's not hard, but like I said, this bench, I got hit in the head last year, a wrist shot right in the back of my head. So just keep your eye on the puck. It's a hard bench to work, so yeah, just keep an eye. You'll see like defense will be coming. If the play's coming up this way, they're usually trailing, and you'll know they'll be ready to come off. And gum, I need to give you gum. It's extremely important that you have gum for him at all times, because he will always ask for gum. So there you go. Keep that in your pocket.
Now that Jim knows to look for broken sticks, when to open the bench door, and to always keep gum handy for Coach Martinson, the professor takes his students on the ice for more instruction.
Anyway, that's just the premise. The sticks will be here or wherever you want to put them, and we'll number them. Let's get them done now, and then. So that's it, the basics.
Jim and Corey get to work on bringing the sticks to the bench and organizing them on the rack, while Chris returns to his duties behind the scene, like filling out the lineup card, dealing with a broken skate, and adjusting the fit to Eric LaBelle's helmet. The player from Quad City that was involved with Chris Plumhoff in the puck-throwing incident was Terry Hollinger. And when the pregame skate was done, Hollinger had Chris brought to the Mallards locker room to make amends.
Sorry, man. Yeah, sorry, bud.
The video board inside the Mark of the Quad Cities says what every person in the building already knows. And tonight's game lives up to all the things that makes Rockford Quad City games so exciting. Jim handles the bench duties for Chris Plumhoff for the first and third periods, while Corey was behind the bench door for the second period. The only score in the game came during the second period when Jason Ralph blasted the puck by Quad City starter Robert Gerson at 18-17. Rockford's defense was the #1 star of the game, despite allowing the Mallards 27 shots on goal. Late in the third period, the Mallards, who were already on the power play, pulled their goalie for the extra skater. Rockford's Michelle Robinson saw a flurry of shots in the last minute of the game, and despite a 6-on-4 power play, the Mallards couldn't score, and Rockford wins the game 1-0. It was the 7th shutout for Robinson, who ties Missouri's Jason Tapp for most shutouts in a season. Some IceHogs fans who made the trip down to see the game welcome the players as they board the bus. Olivier Prue is getting some medical attention for a cut above the eye he received from a high stick. Jennifer Friedau gives him 5 stitches and an otherwise clean bill of health. Tonight's game was a knockout punch to the Mallards in their own rink, giving the IceHogs 9 wins against any opponent for the first time in franchise history. The fact that it was against their bitter rivals gave the Rockford IceHogs a fairy tale ending to the story of life on the road for a minor league hockey team.
Okay, what could I say about Dufour? No, Dufour is like an old man. No, once we get in the room, he has to pick his bed, settle down. Like, no, he's gonna sit in his bed and like he has to have the remote. Like if he doesn't have the remote, or if like I'm in the room before him and like watching TV, he's gonna whine. He whines a lot. No, that's one thing. Like no, we talked about it last road trip. No, we almost went into therapy because no, he doesn't notice all this little things I do for him, and you know, no, we had a harsh talk.
Bruce all year, that's not funny. Not funny at all. You can put that on film. Rooming with Bruce is not funny.
Why? What's so bad about Watson?
Because no matter what, if we get in the room at 2 o'clock and I'm dead tired, he wants to watch TV for an hour and a half till 3:30 in the morning. And it's not, he doesn't watch TV. He doesn't watch anything. He just likes to have the clicker and click through channels. If he has it on a channel for more than 30 seconds, I'm impressed. And I can usually fall asleep to a TV, right? If it's on the same channel and it's on the same volume, but when you're in a hotel, every friggin' channel has a different volume, so you'll go from low to high, so it wakes you up. It goes light to dark all the time, and I'll be like, Bruce, honestly, like, you know, are you done watching TV? And oh, you're so old, Ralphie. What? Jesus, you're 26 years old. Come on, can't you watch TV for a while? You know, I'm just like, you know, we play an afternoon game tomorrow, Bruce. Like, I want to get some sleep before we play. Whatever, I don't care. Whatever. So that's not funny.
So Bruce.
I'll throw him under the bus. That's fine. Whatever, I don't care.